I'm so excited to have this very special guest with me today. And it's not often that I get to be in the same space with our fierce conversation guests, but today we were able to make it happen. So I'm so excited to be with you. Yay! So this happens. You may hear yay many times during this conversation because we're just girly girls having fun. So with me today is Lina Acosta Sandal. She is a psychotherapist and child development expert. And confession, she's also one of my best friends. We have known each other since actually before the 8th grade, but really it was in 8th grade when we started to really just come together. And we have been in each other's lives ever since, through the ups, through the downs, through so many changes. And it's really been a beautiful ride. So we know each other really well. And I love having fierce conversations with my peeps, because we can stretch each other, we can be hard on each other in those times when we need to be hard, right? And that's what Fierce Conversations is all about. It's about helping each other get unstuck, helping each other do the hard things, and really getting ourselves out of the comfort zone so we could actually move ourselves forward in life, in business, in relationships. And so that's what these conversations about. Before we take it further and jump into the fierce moment that Lina's going to reveal to us today, I want to give her a few moments to just really, in her own words, introduce herself to all of you so that you know a little bit about her, and then we'll keep going.
Okay, so I am Lina Acosta Sandal. I am a mom, a psychotherapist, a child development expert. I do social emotional learning consultations in schools in Miami and sometimes nationally. And I just finished writing a book for Macmillan Education, all about social emotional learning in the classroom. So that's a little bit about me and work. I own Stop Parenting Alone, and I always like to say that Stop Parenting Alone was created out of my frustration when I was getting my master's degree in clinical psychology, because at the time I had a 3-year-old at home and I was pregnant with my son, and I kept hearing all the things, and I was like, okay, why don't parents know this? Why do you have to get a master's program to know how to help a child become a citizen of the world? And why do you have to get a master's degree to help your child, to prevent your child from having, any form of, mental health situations? So Stop Parenting Alone is basically my response to that frustration, because what I believe is that when you get the right information, you always make the right choices for your children. And parenting is so much easier when you understand that a lot of what is happening for them is just normative development.
Yeah.
So that's
such a peaceful voice, and it was really wonderful to have her as a friend, a close friend, while raising my children, because I would have those moments where I didn't trust myself, or moments where I didn't trust others, like their teachers, and other parents in their lives who were giving me all of this advice. And my intuition, right? We're always going to talk about intuition in these conversations. My intuition told me, no, this is not the right thing for my child. But society tells us that we have to follow a black and white rule, by the book, and not trust ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so it was really wonderful along the journey to have her remind me, Mo, you're doing the right thing. Listen to your gut. You know your child better than anyone.
Yep.
Right? And we are going to make mistakes, as we do in life as human beings. And so it's really how we recover,
yes,
right, from those mistakes.
Yes.
And do something different with our children the next time that helps us to kind of feel safe raising our kids.
Yes.
So
yeah. And all the professionals out there that help families, psychotherapists, pediatricians, teachers, coaches, they have expertise in children.
Yeah.
not in your child.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
for me, I want to give you the information and my expertise in children, and then together we can figure out which one of these things fit for your child.
Exactly.
So that's me professionally.
Yeah, and I just want to say that, if you're a parent or you want to be a parent, and you will be soon, make sure you're following Stop Parenting Alone on Facebook, on Instagram. One of the reasons why so many people follow Lena and her advice is because she's going to give you the truth. She's not going to sugarcoat things. And she does it in a very loving way, but the truth comes through. Like, in just 30 seconds, you're going to know what to do or what to stop doing. She just gave me some truth medicine yesterday. And I was like, damn it, why? Why did you do this? Okay, you hit me like right in the heart, right in the gut, and now I know what to do. Now I know what to do. So that's what makes her so unique, is that in just 30 seconds or less, you're gonna get the truth in a loving, compassionate way, and you're gonna be able to take action on it, right? So it's just fabulous. So moving on from knowing a little bit about Lena, about what she does in the world to support parents along their parenting journey and to raise these beautiful citizens in the world, let's jump now to her fierce moment. Right now, we all have fierce moments. We have fierce moments every single day, right? It's when you make a decision, a tough decision, when you choose to pause instead of be reactive. When you go back to realizing that you are in a pattern again, that you wanted to change, and saying, okay, I need to do the tough work, right? We have fierce moments every single day. But I ask each of my guests in these conversations to pull out a time, one fierce moment in particular, that they want to talk about, because there were so many learnings there and so much growth there. And so, Lena, what fierce moment do you want to chat about today?
The fierce moment that has been most recent and that I have been in for the last 2 years was the ending and the release of my therapy center. So prior to March 2020, we all know that date, right? Prior to March 2020, I had what I used to call a brick and mortar therapy center, where it was me and psychotherapists that did the work that we do, right? We did traditional psychotherapy, we did parenting groups, and it was an actual space, and it was a space that I gave so much of my energy and so much of my time and so much of my love, both for the therapists that I worked with, that I was also training, and the actual physical space, right? I guess as we continue having this conversation, I'm very intentional about my environment and my rituals and what I do. And this space was kind of like this personified, like this it was me in a space. It was like you walked in and you kind of experienced Lena.
Yes.
Like what's happening inside of me, right? So making the decision to let go of the agency, right? And also let go of what's traditionally seen as psychotherapy was definitely a fierce moment for me.
Okay, and I want to go a little bit deeper, right? Because when something feels so hard, it almost feels like we're letting go a piece of ourselves, which you alluded to. But there's also a fear there, right? There's always a fear. And so what was the fear for you in letting go of the brick and mortar and of all the therapists that you had so conscientiously brought in and trained and loved? And I know this because I worked for them. I was a coach for her team, and I got to really know the therapists and love on the therapists too, and this beautiful environment that Lena really crafted for many, many years. And so it was her baby, right? So what was the fear behind letting that go?
First, my fear was having the psychotherapist hate me. Like I want to use that word is intentional. I thought that they would just hate me. You know, that I felt like they would feel like I was betraying them. So that's number one. Number two, I was going to do something different than the colleagues in my field, and than my colleagues in the psychology field. I always used to lean on the fact that there was play therapy and that there was individual therapy in the work that I did. But I knew deep in my gut that what I wanted to do was just sit with parents and just hold teachers. And so I was afraid that I was not going to follow the rules of what a licensed marriage and family therapist does, right? I was going to jump out of like what was, you know, I
expected.
Yes, expected to do, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I'm this licensed professional, and I have to do, you know, weekly psychotherapy sessions, and so I was afraid that my colleagues were going to judge me and feel like I'm doing hocus pocus or something. I'm not, but that's what I thought. And then lastly, the financial fear, right? Like, like I was dropping, you know, I think at the time it was like 45% of what was coming in.
Wow. Let's stop right there. You own a business. You're making a consistent revenue, and you all of a sudden decide, I'm going to let go of 45% of my business. Just soak that in. For any of you who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, wow. So there was definitely something deeper here going on. There was fear, there was judgment, there was the expectations of the industry and the mask that you had to wear. Like, this is the only way that I could do psychotherapy and be successful, right? How many of us go through that, right? That voice, that limiting belief that I can't do something different and be successful, and I can't be myself and do what's in my heart and soul, which was holding the parent. That's always really been your mission, is to hold the parent. And what happens? What happens when I let go of 45% of my business? And if, mind you, none of us knew what was coming March of 2020. Nobody knew what was happening there. But there was a deeper calling here for you. And what was the deeper calling?
Well, taking care of me.
Taking care of you. And let me stop right there and let everybody know, because she's one of my best clients, right? And so in the flow roadmap that I create, that many of you have, you know that it's based in the 5 elements, right? Water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. The cycle of life, right? And these elements support each other, and they put each other out when we're unbalanced. And it's a beautiful system of operating for those of us who want to achieve this concept of life balance, right?
Yep.
And so it's a system that really, really helps you. In this system, she is known as Triple Earth. She is Mother Earth, essentially, right? And Mother Earth takes care of her babies, takes care of everybody around her, right? So just letting go of your people, closing the doors of your beautiful center that held so many people, you were suffering because of that, because you weren't giving and giving and giving. But what happens with people who have too much earth energy, if we don't balance it, we're not giving to ourselves. And so we're not able to find that balance. And so our health suffers, right? So many things suffer. We're not able to be productive. We're not able to really see the forest beyond the trees. Okay? And so, that was huge for you.
It was huge. And again, I was not gonna follow the rules,
the protocol,
the rules of engagement, right? Because what I wanted, what I always loved doing since I opened Stop Parenting Alone in 2012, was to sit with a parent, listen to what is going on for them, and then build a map,
Right.
Like
Build a map.
I tell them, this is why it's happening, this is the solution, and this is the plan, and I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be that person that you lean on, right? And I'm gonna find the people that are going to assist you, right? I knew that I didn't, and I am not the right person to be with you week to week in psychotherapy.
Right.
And that was also hard to let go of
Okay.
because I'm a really good therapist, right? But it's not what,
Was calling you.
and it's not what fire, it's not what like the fire that I have, right? I'm so good at hearing you, digesting it, and giving it back to you in a practical way. And psychotherapy is a lot about just listening and holding,
Right.
and holding. So I wasn't doing my,
You were transforming because she is
I
a
was.
Scorpio. You know I'm an astrologer. We're going to talk astrology. She is a Scorpio. And so not only does she go deep and she can listen
Yes.
and really get you, but again, she's going to give it back to you with this medicine. And the medicine is, you need to change.
yes,
And here is how you're going to change. And that's where traditional psychotherapy just sits and listens and says you're going to be okay, but it doesn't
right.
show you the way.
Right.
It doesn't
And
show you the way.
and yes, we need that week to week, but again, I had to take a really good look in the mirror and say that's not what I do.
Right.
Right? That's not my place in the universe. My place
Yeah.
in the universe is to light your fire and go.
Go do it. And so, yes, and lighting the fire, let's talk now about the outcome, right? Because this was a fierce decision.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were doing is owning your authenticity, lighting the fire within, which is, am I willing to listen to what I know I need to do in this life, right? Self-actualization.
Right.
Do I know myself? And am I gonna be willing to go put myself out in the world that way? So that not only am I lighting my fire, but because I'm lighting my fire, I'm gonna be able to light so many more fires, right? By owning it, by giving myself the chance. Hello, Eli Manso Kane. If there's anyone else who wants to come on and say hello, we would love to see who's here. So please comment and say hello. So now you have released,
Yes.
you have closed your doors.
Yes.
You have released 45% of your business.
Yes.
And what has been the outcome of this fierce decision, knowing that COVID, the lockdown came like a week later? Immediately.
It was like,
Right? So the universe knew what it was doing.
Yeah.
And the universe was kind of saying, Lena, it's time. Lena, it's time. You have no idea what I'm doing for you.
Right.
But I'm going to help you to become pretty much almost completely virtual. What was the outcome of this fierce decision?
I currently have 16, like I have a strong membership.
Strong membership.
So a membership of parents that some of them see me monthly, some of them are part of a membership group where I answer questions weekly, and again I get to support them. And I have 3 contracts, which, not having to do psychotherapy opened it up, 3 contracts with local schools where I am there and I am on campus, and I am holding and supporting the teachers so that they can support the students. That was magic because I love being on a school campus.
Right.
And I love being with teachers because the life of children is at school, right? That's in your home they do what you say at home, what you tell them to do, but most of their life and them practicing what we teach them and values and who they are, they do it at school. And so I love being able to help. So my membership expanded.
Okay.
Which before I didn't have the time to expand it.
Right.
I got these. I was able to go to the schools, and I was able to create, a program. Macmillan came a knocking and asked me to write a book.
So let's stop right there. Because I want to get across, and this is where transformation happens, right? When we're able to make these fierce decisions. And sometimes it takes a long time. I made a fierce decision not long ago, a few years ago. The hardest thing I've ever had to do, and it took years and years and years to be able to do it, right? And I know many of you out there have been struggling with something, and you've been feeling something in your heart and soul that you want to do, and you're not able to get to that place to press that button and just say, it's time. Let me just believe in myself. Let me believe that when I close one door, another door is going to open. This is trust. This is surrender. This is working in co-creation with spirit, however you define spirit, however you define God. Do I trust that if I jump off the mountain, that something's going to catch me? And do I trust that if I really believe and know myself and give myself an opportunity to do what it is that I'm here to do and love and put myself first, that I'm going to be caught and doors are going to open? And that's exactly what happened for you. And I'm not mistaken by saying that your revenue has also increased.
Yes. My revenue increased, which is shocking.
Right.
It took a little bit, but my revenue increased. And I think back to this idea of I took out something. I took the agency made space, the vacuum of the agency made space so that these 3 schools can come in, and so that Macmillan can come in. And if I continue, to think about, what I believe is my life's purpose, which is, to help caregivers in their journey with supporting new citizens and new souls of the world, Macmillan let me know that once this book is out, it will hit 1 million students.
Wow. So you're going to be hitting 1 million new souls.
So
Parents,
students. Right. So 1 million students and their teachers. And their schools. And it's international.
Yeah.
Right. So it was I sometimes I'm like, financially that was awesome and it was really fun and yay, and I didn't have to worry about the 40%. But it's what I had proclaimed. Yeah. I am here, in service of truth, through love and authenticity, right? And who are the people that are most responsible for sharing love with another citizen of the world? Caregivers, teachers, coaches, parents. Yeah. I know that's where the universe has put me, right? To support the caregivers. And so yes, my revenue increased. And side note, the psychotherapists that I used to work with, now they have a private practice, and just recently, one of them was like, "Don't send me anymore, I'm booked." And so they're also doing well.
You kind of let them fly.
Right.
You're like, I've taught you everything I need to teach you.
They're also doing well, and I can't, and perhaps the vacuum that I created in their professional life, they were also able to fill with their success.
Right.
So and again, we're on the other side, from March 2020 to today. There's been ups and downs and dark moments where I just had to remind myself of what is the purpose, why do you do what you do.
And you also surround yourself with a lot of people with different talents, with different, gifts, to help remind you.
Yes.
Right. And that's and having a support system is really, really
Yes.
important, of people that you trust. And hello, Michelle. Thank you for being here. So, and again, going back to astrology, it's, we look at your chart all the time. And so I just want to talk about the synchronicities, right? When you understand yourself through the lens of the elements which you use, and also, traditional astrology, that as a triple earth mama, you're here to support parents. Like, that's just so perfect. It's like, hello, yes. And also in your chart, like with your Gemini rising and your 9th house, which is the house of communication, of being a published, author, just kind of opened up the minute you really stepped into, I know that this is what I need to do. And so I need to help myself by releasing something so that more of my dharma shows up for me, right? And so that's what happens when we just work with some of these tools to help us actualize, our purpose and our dharma. I want to move the conversation now to self-care, because a big part of why you did this was to start caring for yourself more, because it was really hard to run a business, a brick and mortar business. And it was taking you away from the home. It was taking you away from yourself. I know that being in nature is something that's really important to you, which of course the triple earth mama would need. But let's talk about spirituality and ritual, and then we're going to talk about the flow roadmap, because you're going to be wowed. So don't go anywhere, because you're going to be wowed with how freaking intentional she is about using the flow roadmap, and how that has led to another system she's created for herself, which is amazing. And I'm jealous because I still haven't been able to implement it, because my Gemini is just way too all over the place. So let's talk about, so for those of you who don't know what the flow roadmap is a tool that I created based on a science. It's an astrology system that's called 9-Star Key. It's really feng shui astrology, because I'm a feng shui practitioner. But it's so simple. It's very simple because it's based on the 5 elements, and it tells you your primary elements, but it also tells you every single year, this is the energy that is dominating your year, okay? So let's integrate that so it supports you to find that balance. And every single month, this is the energy that is supporting your month. So you can be really intentional about strategy, about health and wellness, about relationships, how you operate month to month to find your flow, essentially. And so Lena loves this tool.
I do.
And so let's talk a little bit more about that. And before you get into that, I just want to know, to connect this fierce decision with how that led into you really practicing spirituality in a new way.
Right.
So what did that open the door to?
So since I was doing all these unconventional for my career choices, I needed something to lean on, right? Because, when they say it's a leap of faith, I'm very practical, so I wanted to know what is faith? What does that look like? So being able to lean on things like the flow, my flow roadmap, and being able to lean on daily ritual, made it so I can stay in what I kept repeating to myself since 2020. All is well. All is well. No matter what was happening in front of me, all is well. Because since I was doing something new and different, I couldn't associate it with something certain.
Yes.
So I had to have faith that I was in the right direction. And then, there's that saying, I think it's in the Bible, I'm not 100%, that faith without works is dead.
Yes.
So I got into the works of faith.
Okay. Oof. Hashtag. I wish I had someone like putting all the hashtags in here, but we'll work on that for future ones. The work of faith, and,
Yes.
and that's ritual. really that's
Yeah.
that's daily ritual. When we talk about daily ritual, it's the work of faith, it's the work of trust, it's the work of self-care, it's the work of prioritization, it's the work of me first. And I have to say that we can have so many conversations with so many people about what the pandemic did for us. And for me, March of 2020 was also an incredibly critical month, because that's when I went on my own, and I moved the week that the pandemic, said, okay, everybody, you cannot leave your spaces. I was moving during that week. And so what the pandemic did for me, and it was my cocoon year, it was perfect. It kept me in my cocoon of self-care. And having that ritual that I started during that time, I have continued, and I cannot live without it.
Yep.
I really cannot. I have truly, I can say from my heart of hearts that I do the work, and that I do put myself first every single day. And without that, I don't operate the same. And I'm not there to be able to hold space for other people, namely my kids, my family, my clients.
Yes.
And so talk to me about your ritual. Let's dive in. Like, I want people to just see like how intentional you are about your ritual and what it's turned into for you.
Okay. So once a month, every month, I sit with my flow roadmap.
Your flow roadmap.
Right. And with the flow roadmap, there's the big umbrella of like what is the whole year. Right. So currently I'm in planting seeds.
You're in planting seeds.
I'm currently so that's the big thing that I have to hold in mind. And it's so nice for me to say every month I start with, okay, how you do like a big macro choices and then the micro choices, right? So the big macro choices, okay, what am I continuing to plant seeds about, right? And then I think about that for myself and for my business, right? And then in the micro, I look at my month, right? So like this month, right? This month I'm in a leadership month, right? And leadership month, there's colors, right? So
let's look at your nails.
One of the colors for the leadership month is about white, but leadership month is also about moon. So I go to my manicurist every month and I put the colors in my hand so I remember what it's up to. And then this month I did, wait, can you see it?
We can see the black really well.
So new moon, and then this one looks like
the full moon.
But it's also the binary, because in a leadership month, you have to look at the yin and yang of the month. So one ritual that I have for the month is to color my hands in the color of what that particular
particular
element
Let me stop you right there, because this is so much fun, by the way. Like, this is a great way to just have fun, right? It's something for you that you get to decide and give meaning to. But actually using the colors changes our energy. This is a feng shui principle, and this is why we use a lot of colors in feng shui. And so every year when I'm working with someone, I say, your power color this year is black. So even if you just take a black scarf and have it with you, carry it with you, or a black bracelet, or white for metal, it really does help to balance you. It's one of the best ways to find balance. So yes, it's fun, and it really does support us energetically. Okay.
Right. And then, so for example, I know that I'm in a leadership month, right? So in a leadership month, when I get asked to speak, or when I get asked to, going to the Chamber South meeting, I will go, because it's a leadership month, right? But if it's a cocoon month, I won't, right? If it's a hurricane month, I sit and I wonder what's ending and what's starting for myself as an individual, but also in my business. So all my decisions for the month, my to-dos for the month, are based on what does a dream month mean? What does, and what do I have to concentrate on? And it's so good, because as an entrepreneur, you have so many decisions that you have to make that just kind of hits you like this super fast. So I have this filter, this monthly filter to put it through. And then, so so macro is the year. How am I planting seeds this month? Micro is what month am I in? So again, right now I'm in a leadership month. If a school asks me to go do a workshop, I say yes. If a school asks me to go do a workshop in a cocoon month or a hurricane month, I say no. If I'm gonna launch something for my business in a hurricane month, I might, but on a cocoon month, definitely I won't do it.
In a fire month, yes.
In a fire month, of course, right? So depending on the element, that's how I make my business and my personal choices. And then in the micro and the really little, I kind of follow the Wiccan week. So I don't know if you guys know, but the days of the week in the Wiccan.
It is a religion.
But for me, it's like I love.
Yes.
I love. It's not necessarily my religion,
Right.
but it's I love the rituals.
Right.
Because the rituals are around harvest and around.
They're very
nature.
earth and elementally based.
Yes, and I love that about it. So, look it up. But the days of the week have colors and have things that you can concentrate on. So, for example, Wednesday is a communication month, right? So, you know how you're always wondering whether or not you should talk on social media or you should send an email to your list? I only do it on Wednesdays. Thursday, it's an abundance day. It's a money conscious day. So, guess when I sign contracts and guess when I send out proposals? On a Thursday. I don't think about money. That's when I talk to my accountant, right? And every day has a color. So Fridays is about love, harmony, and family in the Wiccan days. And it's pink. So every day, Monday is like white and there's other colors, but those are the ones that I get. Tuesday is red and black. So packing is super easy because if I know that I am going to be somewhere Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I just pick the colors in my closet that is color coordinated based on the days. So on Monday, I only look at my white clothes. And on Tuesday, I only look, but again, it's intentional. It's like the color reminds me, what am I thinking about today? And believe it or not, when I have parenting consultations, it's so funny because on a Thursday, it'll be about abundance. On a Wednesday, it'll be about communication and whatever. I know that the brain works this way and maybe I'm filtering that way, but it just kind of coincides. So again, it makes making decisions and staying ever present to ritual front of line for me. And it's also fun.
It is fun. Yeah, and I love it because we do have to make life fun, right? Because life can get hard really, really easy. And what I really love about the system you've created is that it gives you permission to take care of yourself, right? And to own that I don't have to say yes all the time. I don't have to say yes to everybody. And it gives you time to find the balance, right? Because, and that's the whole purpose of this system. We're not meant to go 1,000 miles an hour every month, right? There are certain months that are to your benefit to go 1,000 miles because it's going to open new opportunities for you. It's going to get you out there in front of the public, and maybe will give you an opportunity to bring more money into your business or your life, or it'll support your relationships, right? And so this allows us to be so strategic and not feel that we have to do everything for everybody every day, every week, every month. It's exhausting.
Yep.
So having a system that really helps you to find the balance is very supportive for women in particular, I feel, for entrepreneurs, small business owners. It doesn't matter. For anybody who's just living life, gosh, can I make decisions a little bit easier?
Yeah.
And have more moments where I can breathe.
Right.
You know?
And if you have a little tiny someone, by the way,
Right.
if you have like a little person, 6 and younger, and every morning you're fighting about what to wear,
Oh gosh.
you could actually like do Monday is a white day, a Tuesday, because ever since we've been little, we need ritual. We
Right.
need routine. Routine creates safety for no matter who you are. So do it with your kids. It's
Yeah.
I don't have littles. I have teenagers. I have a 14 and a 17-year-old. But if I had littles, I would definitely be telling them about this. And my favorite day is Tuesday because, first of all, it's the day where you can wear red.
It's Mars.
It's red. Yeah, martes. It's like so it's you can wear red or black. But it's also the day where it's wisdom and truth.
Yeah.
And I love, like, if Tuesdays on Instagram, those are the days I do the truth bomb videos.
You gotta check it out. You gotta follow her on Instagram. Let's go ahead and type it in right now. Is
at Parenting Expert.
Parenting Expert.
It's on Instagram, so it's not here. So
IG.
Yeah,
and then also Stop Parenting Alone.
And then at Stop Parenting Alone is both Facebook and as well as Instagram. So but to me, like, my agenda, my monthly agenda, how I plan my week is definitely with the questions and thinking about my flow roadmap. And then one day when Monique came over to see me, I was like, look, can you please tell me which chakra aligns with each of the elements? And she did that for me, and so that gave me an extra thing to think about.
So she's really created this entire system, which I may incorporate it. You know, like we were talking today about creating a planner to go along with the flow roadmap to help you plan, you know, the total year, month to month, week to week, and include more of these correspondences, which support you in just creating an organizational system it's one less thing to think about, right? I remember hearing from, and I always said to myself, God, I wish I could do this. I end up doing it anyways because I work from home now. I literally wear the same thing almost every single day. But back then, when I actually had to get, you know, dressed up every morning to drive somewhere and go to work and look professional, like, you know, someone said, well, you know, Michael Jackson wears black every day, and so has 5 outfits, and they wear the same outfit, you know, on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I'm like, I just don't know that I can do that. And of course, I've come to learn that I'm a manifesting generator in human design, and also, you know, in my astrology, like, I just need a lot of space to just make instantaneous decisions. So I operate better from a little bit less structure than Lena does. Lena operates, she needs more structure in her human design. So it's great to know yourself, because again, you're just creating structure around how you best operate, right? But having tools like this that you can say, gosh, if I do this, it's just going to be one less thing that I have to think about.
Right. And back to this idea of, you know, I have spent 2 years managing uncertainty, not knowing how this is going to work out. So, you know, I knew that if I was going to call the school to get my contract, I was going to call them on Wednesday and Thursday, right? Like, because it was an abundance day or a communication day. And that created a little bit of certainty for an uncertain interaction.
Yeah.
Right. So and also I knew that I can call this school on a dream month or on a planting seeds month. You know, because that's what I was doing with them.
Exactly.
So again, it created safety in the storm of uncertainty.
Totally. And I remember when we sat down to plan this year in particular, planting seeds, you know, us ideators and creators, like many of you in here, we have so many ideas. Yes. It's like, what do I work on this year? And it gave her permission to say, and the question is, in a planting seeds year, think about a year from now, what you hope would have happened. What are the seeds that you need to plant now? Just a couple. We're not talking multiple seeds. We're not trying to build 20 trees here. We're just trying to, you know, raise one little tree. What are those 3 little seeds that you want to plant this year? And again, it's just like, take a deep breath. You don't have to do it all this year. Right. And so that it really supported you in that way.
And it gave me the answer. So, you know, when I have had this idea of a parenting school since I opened the center. And it was like the thing that I flogged myself with.
Oh gosh.
You know, because I haven't done it, and you know, and it was so beautiful to be able to say, but you're in a planting seeds year, Lena. So all you're doing is planting the seeds of these courses. And what does that look like? Right. And that's exactly what I've done.
What you've done. And so next year,
it will
is rise, because it's a rise year. And so all those little seeds you planted are going to grow.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, again, we can just breathe more, give ourselves space, which I think so many of us in this community are looking for. How can I create space for myself? How can I not be overwhelmed and stressed out all the time, right? So again, this is my system, which she's adopted so well, and she's really my star student. But there's so many other systems out there, right? And so it's about knowing yourself so that you can find the right system, right? And have it support you. Okay, so we're almost at an hour. Can you believe it? Let's wrap this up by going back to what has making such a fierce decision done for you now in general in your life, especially when you think about the next fierce decision that you may have to make for yourself?
It's given me proof that, again, because I really think that most of my life has been about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. But it's given me the proof that if I make space, something greater and grander will show up in its vacuum. And also when I take care of me, I'm a better Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And I think I knew that intellectually, but I think these 2 years have taught me that viscerally. It's in my body now, which is a big deal.
Mama Earth is grounded.
I am officially grounded.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've accepted my place in the feminine. Because I spent a lot of my life
in masculine.
Taking my feminine being and putting on a suit over it.
Yeah.
And attempting to be masculine. And I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't, what we code as masculine, I mean.
Right.
But yeah. in the terms of energy, so.
Yeah, and there are moments where we have to flex our masculine energy, right?
Yes,
as women.
100%. Right. Yeah, I think it's balanced.
Yes.
And it didn't used to be balanced.
It didn't used to be balanced.
At all.
Yeah.
It was, if I was in public, I played up my masculine energy, and when I was by myself, I was very feminine, and now I get to do both.
You get to do both. I love it. Yay. What a beautiful conversation this has been today. I just want to say that I really honor you and respect you. I mean, there are days where, I'll forget, because that's who I am. I'm a butterfly in the wind. And I'm like, do you want to do something today? Do you have time to talk? This is my day. This is the day I say no to everyone. This is the day I don't work. This is the day I'm in my backyard, meditating, gardening, doing me. And there are very few people that are so dedicated, that I've seen, that are so dedicated to giving herself that space. And that's one of the things that I'm like, I just love it when you do that. I get happy when she says no to me. I'm like, thank you. Yes. So, you are fierce, my love. Thank you for being here today and sharing your story and opening up, your ritual. It's just, a lot of people don't like to do that. And so I love that, and I hope all of you find value, and I hope that you share this talk with others and invite them into our community, into Essentially Woo, so that they can view it. This is private to our group at the moment. Next year, I do plan on opening it up, and it will be an official podcast, so yay. Hi, Myra!
Myra!
And so yeah, share, and comment, will you, if you do listen to this podcast, and let us know what you took from it. Okay, so thank you for showing up. Thank you for viewing this later, if you view it later, and love and light, and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Goodbye, everybody.